Good morning, sixth graders. Happy Friday. Today is also September 11th. We probably already talked about this in our Zoom call, but it's important to remember so many people who lost their lives today and the way that it changed our country in a lot of ways for the better. And we became stronger and more united after September 11th in a lot of ways. There were some negatives too, of course. But anyway, today we are taking a couple of assessments in Otis, and then we're also going to be reading Boy of the Painted Cave. So we've already gone over the things right here. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Our book talk today is I Survived the Attacks of September 11th. This is one of the September 11th books that's really good. It's about a young boy. I read it a long time ago. I think he's probably about 11 or 12, a lot of your ages, who lived in New York at the time and had someone that he loved very much be directly involved with the September 11th catastrophe. So anyway, it's really good. I love the I Survived books. Actually, in the book order that's out right now, the new I Survived book is in there. I'll probably talk to you guys about that on Monday. But anyway, the new I Survived book is in there, and it's actually about the California wildfires of 2018. So we were really affected by that, even though it was like an hour or two away from where we lived, just by the smoke. And actually, school got canceled one day. I don't know if you remember. It was November 16th. I remember because it was my son's birthday. School got canceled that day. And so anyway, the new I Survived book, I don't know how I segued into this conversation, is in the new book order, which you can access online. The link for it and everything is actually at the top of your weekly planner if you're interested. And I have not talked nearly enough about it, but I was planning on having them due next week. So if you want to order from the book orders, that's a great thing. They are due next week. All right. So our plan today is right here. We talked about IRR a lot this week with narrative writing. We read the superpower story, which I thought was really good. So today you're going to take an IRR assessment in Otis. You can use the notes that we've gone over so far in class. So that's what the plan is. And then this is also just to do that too. You may use your textbook and notes to help you. Then we will have social studies time, which you're just going to go into Otis and also take your assessment. You're going to take your adaptation and early humans assessment. So that is that. Then, okay, so there it is again. It was on the plan. Now you get a sign for it. Yay. Okay. So now I'm going to read to you Boy of the Painted Cave really quick, just so I can be done with Otis talk. Oh, you're going to do the chapter 4 questions and Otis after Boy of the Painted Cave. I want to remind you, you're also going to, and I did not put a slide up for this, but you're going to fill out your weekly planner in Otis as well. So you guys have 4 things to do in Otis. Okay, and I know that probably sounds like a ton, but really it's not that much. Like your weekly planner should only take you like 5 minutes, and the other stuff is pretty easy too. All right, so instead of making a separate video today, since this is already so short, I am going to go ahead and read to you from Boy of the Painted Cave. Again, remember this link right here will take you to Boy of the Painted Cave. And if you don't have your copy yet, I know Amazon was running behind. And let me, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. So we'll go ahead and get started. And now Tao is kind of on his own. He got into kind of a fight with some of the tribe leaders, and so he left. Kala was alone with the new child as Tao stooped into the hut. Inside was a bed of straw and a smaller one for the child. By the way, sorry to interrupt, but I am on chapter 4, page 45. A small cook fire burned near the back of the hut, sending a thin trail of blue smoke up through the vent hole. Kala's gray hair hung over her shoulders, and her face was lined from many hard winters. She often told Tao she had a wrinkle for every fall of snow. In spite of years of carrying firewood, skinning deer, making robes, and sewing clothes, Kala could still smile. She smiled with good, strong teeth, strong from chewing on pelts and skins to make them soft. Always, Kala spoke the truth, which often angered the elders, but they left her alone because she was wise and knew much history of the clan. Before Tao spoke, she laid the new baby on an antelope robe and then stepped out of the hut, pretending to look around. When she came back, she squatted down cross-legged in front of the boy. She picked one of the black mussels Tao had given her. "You have been down to the slough," she said. Tao was startled. He was surprised she had guessed. "It is the only place where these can be found," she said, clicking her tongue. Tao saw a smile behind her frown. "You know the slough," he whispered, as if sharing a secret between them. "I used to go there when I was a girl. It was a good place, filled with many berries, many mushrooms, and fish." She smiled as she remembered. But that was before the bad thing happened, before it became a place of evil. "What bad thing, Kala?" The old woman shook her head. "It was a long time ago." "It is wrong," said Tao, "that the clan people should go hungry when there is food nearby." Kala threw up her hands. "You wish to question the elders?" "No," said Tao. "It would do no good." Tao looked at this old woman, whose eyes were still young and green like the willow leaves. She was wise and good, and he could not have asked for a better mother. Yet he knew she was not of his blood, and after a long silence he said, "Kala, I am 14 summers now, and I wish to know about my mother and father." "You will not give up," she said. "Perhaps it is better that you do not know." "But I must find out," said Tao, "if I am ever to enter the ritual of manhood. In the eyes of the elders, it is very important. If I am the son of a leader or a hunter like Garth, I might someday become a chosen one. Then I can draw and paint." Kala shook her head sadly. "You dream, boy, but your dreams are not true. As long as there are taboos, it can never be." "But how can it hurt to know about my father?" Kala placed a mussel shell into a bowl made from an empty ox bone. "Of that I will not tell you. I am one of the few who know, and it is a thing we do not speak of." "Is it such a terrible thing?" "Yes," said the old woman, "it is a terrible thing." Tao was silent for a moment. She will not say it, he thought. "But it is not because I have a bad foot. I do not walk as the others. Oh, I'm sorry, because it is because I have a bad foot. I do not walk as the others. That too is why I can never be a chosen one." Tao sighed. He knew it would do no good to press her for another answer. "My mother, then. Tell me about my mother." The old woman nodded. She settled back on her bearskin rug, the strings of gray hair hanging down over her face. There was a peaceful look in her eyes as she spoke. "Your mother was Vedra of the mountain people. She was 16 summers, and she was captured in one of the raids during a summer famine. You were early born, in the middle of a cold winter, like the one that just passed." Tao's heart was pounding. He had never heard his mother's name before. "Vedra," he repeated the name quietly. "Vedra." His dark eyes shining in the dim light, the soft sound rolling off the end of his tongue. "Vedra of the mountain people." "It is the law of the clan," the old woman continued, "that weak and crippled children be taken up among the boulders and left for the hyenas. But your mother would not let you go. She sat in the corner of Big Cave, holding you to her breast, keeping you warm, rocking back and forth and singing. Again and again they tried to take you away, but she fought like a cave lion, screaming, biting, refusing to give you up. And through the long snows, she kept you alive. I brought her food. She would not leave the cave, and it was a winter where the winds found their way into the mountain. Before the moons of summer, she grew weak. When she died, your father ordered that you be left to die among the boulders. I brought you back and raised you for my own." The elders shook their heads, but I did not care. "The man who is your father called it an evil curse." "That is why you will not tell me his name?" "That is why I will never tell you his name." "Then tell me more about my mother," said Tao. "What was she like?" She was only a girl, said Kala, but she had the sense and wisdom of a woman. Always she worked with her hands. She made things from the earths and waters. From pebbles and the bones of fish, she made necklaces. From ivory and antlers, she made beads and bracelets and needles. Even from the grass of the fields, she made headbands and rings for the hair. Everyone loved the things she made, and she gave them away freely. Tao looked up, his dark eyes wide as he smiled. Then she too was a maker. She saw pictures in the sky and the meadows. Yes, said the old woman, I am sure she gave you the eyes to see beauty in the things around you, the animals, the trees, the mountains. I saw this even when you were a small child. You reached out for the flowers in the fields, and you loved to watch birds and squirrels fly through the oak trees. It is the thing that makes you different from others. It is the thing they do not always understand. Tao's thoughts were racing ahead, his mind filled with new ideas. I am happy now, he said. A shadow flickered across his face. Now I know what I must do. If I cannot be a chosen one, I will live away from the clan. I will find a cave high up in the cliffs above the boulders. I will live out on the grasslands and in the oak forest. He hesitated, his voice falling. And I will hunt in the slough where the fruit and game are plentiful. I will be a man in my own way. You are a dreamer, Kala smiled. Tao shook his head. No, Kala, look at me. My arms are strong. For 3 summers I have hunted and brought back food for Kala. She looked at him darkly. Hunt then, she said. But do not make an enemy of the clan. If you make images or go to forbidden places, be sure you are not seen. Go your own way if you wish, but be careful. Tao reached out and gently touched her on the arm. Thank you, Kala, he said. Thank you for many things, but especially for what you have told me. I will come back often and bring you food. Tao went out and crouched by the big fire in the center of the camp. He was thinking about what Kala had said when he heard a soft whimpering sound coming from beyond the light of the fire. He jumped up and saw a pair of yellow eyes staring at him from the darkness. Tao gasped in surprise. It was Ram. The foolish wolf dog had followed him. All right, so that was chapter 4 of Boy of the Painted Cave. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I want to remind you, 4 assessments and notice. Do them. Have a beautiful weekend. I cannot wait to see you Monday morning. Toodles.